and welcome to my channel. I'm Larry Olson, and I'm an expert in the field of performance-driven neurology, which is simply a blending of cognitive psychology and neuroscience. And that is a wonderful way to ascertain why we do what we do, whether it's good for us or not. It's all about how we think. You know, you're thinking right now, you've got a lot going on in your mind. And you know, the more that we can control those thoughts that we have, the greater outcomes we get in our lives. Now, I'm going to share two things where you can brain hack and drastically change your subconscious to improve the quality of the outcomes that you get in your life. This happens to be part 2 of a two-parter. So if you haven't seen part 1, please, I encourage you to take a look at that as well. So one of the brain hacks before we fall asleep at night is, since your subconscious literally will get you whatever you're thinking about. It doesn't have anything to do with what you want, doesn't have anything to do with whether it's good for you or not. It'll get you what you're thinking about. So that being said, I would suggest this first brain hack is for you to ask yourself a question that you'd like resolution to. So while your brain is processing and removing toxins and cleaning itself up for the next day of activity, because by the way, it never sleeps. And so that being the case, why don't you give it something to work on so that when you wake up in the morning, you now have insights as to what you can do without even having to have sat up and thought about it. And we all know that takes place. Have you ever had that wondering what you were gonna do in a situation, and then an hour later you're driving and all of a sudden, bam, it comes to you? That's your subconscious at work. Now let's do it on purpose, because that was done by accident. So let's say that you're in a situation that you find quite challenging, and everything you've seemed to have done has not gotten you what you want. And maybe it's getting that opportunity to be promoted. Maybe it's given the opportunity to be working on a project that you feel utilizes more of what you can bring to the party. Whatever it may be, it could be something relative to diet. Whatever it is, simply before you fall asleep, thank your subconscious for providing you with the solutions to be able to put into practice what it is you need to do to get the outcome that you want. And also recognize and thank it for its patience and understanding as you develop more clarity and specificity as to exactly what it is you want it to look for. You will be absolutely amazed at what starts to transpire and take place in your life. Why? Well, that brings you to the second brain hack. And that is that once you identify what it is, and a quick example of this is look for red right now. Wherever you are, look for red. Did you notice that you began to see red? That's your subconscious at work, taking out all the other colors that our human eye can pick up, which is roughly 7 million different colors. Yes, 7 million different colors. And you honed it all down to one. Now imagine if that's the car you want, if that's the relationship you want, if that's the promotion you want. Your subconscious will do the same thing. It'll find that just as it did when I asked you to look for red. Now, why? Well, guess what connects itself to the spinal cord and allows all of the information before it gets into your brain to go through a filter system. Scientific term is reticular activating system. It's a net-like group of cells about as big as your little finger. I guess that would be your little finger. And its job is to screen out all the junk mail. And the only thing it pays attention to is what we've determined is significant. And what we determine is significant is whatever it is we happen to be thinking about. I remember when I was in college, I bought a 650 Triumph Tiger motorcycle. Never seen one before in my life. I had it for a week and saw 3 more. Now, why hadn't I seen it before? Because it wasn't significant. It wasn't the color red. Every thought you have creates your brain, your subconscious, my Al, if you will, because if you saw in part 1, I named it and I encourage you to name it, Al looked for everything that I was thinking about. He won't look for what I want. He won't look for what I yearn for. He won't look for what I wish, because those are only dreams. He will look for what I'm affirming. And so, if you found this interesting, then give me a like. And please subscribe so that I can get information from you as well on what you'd like to see transpire in some upcoming videos. I'm here for you, and let's make best friends with that wonderful, wonderful, what would we really call it? I'd call it a miracle. Some people call it genie in the bottle. All you got to do is put the information in, and it's going to pop it out in what we call your life. So have the time of your life, and I can't wait to see you next time.